All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Hope you're doing well. Today's topic is something very close to cybersecurity and ethical hacking. We're going to talk about Nmap. And don't worry, even if you've never touched hacking tools before, this conversation will still make sense.
Yeah, exactly. We're not assuming that you're an expert or anything. If you're a student or someone curious about cybersecurity, or even someone working in IT who hears the word Nmap again and again, this episode is for you.
And one more thing, we're keeping this very real and practical. No heavy theory, no fancy words, just two people talking, trying to understand how things actually work. Rahul, let me start with a very basic question. Why do people talk so much about Nmap?
I mean, there are hundreds of security tools out there. Why this one?
That's a very genuine question. See, before you protect something, before you attack something, before you fix something, you need to understand what exists. Nmap is all about discovering reality.
Reality as in
what is actually running on a system, which ports are open, which services are active, what kind of machine it is, and how it is exposed to the network. Without this information, everything else is guesswork.
So basically, Nmap is the starting point.
Exactly. In cybersecurity, Nmap is like switching on the lights before entering a dark room.
Okay, explain this in a very normal way. Imagine I'm not from a tech background at all.
Perfect. Think about a house. From outside, you see only walls and a main gate, but you don't know how many doors are there, which windows are open, which doors are locked, where the weak points are. Nmap does the same thing for computers and networks.
So ports are like doors and windows.
Exactly. Each port is a door. Some doors are meant to be open, like a main door for guests. Some doors should always be closed, like a back door. Nmap tells you which doors are open.
Let's define it properly then. What is Nmap officially?
Officially, Nmap stands for Network Mapper, but don't get scared by the name. In simple words, it's a tool that scans networks and systems and tells you what's running there.
And this is used by hackers.
Used by ethical hackers, yes, but also by system admins, network engineers, security analysts, SOC teams, basically anyone responsible for security. This is where people get confused. Is using Nmap legal or illegal? Very important question. Using Nmap on your own system, your own network, or a system where you have permission, that is completely legal. Using it on random websites or servers without permission, that can be illegal.
So the tool is not illegal. The usage matters.
Exactly. A knife can be used to cut vegetables or to hurt someone. Same knife, different intention.
Okay, now I want to understand something. How does Nmap even get information? Like, how does it ask a system?
Good question. Nmap sends small network messages. We call them packets. It's like knocking on a door. If the system replies, Nmap learns something. If it doesn't reply, that also tells something.
So silence is also information.
Exactly. In cybersecurity, no response is also a response.
I remember the first time I ran Nmap. Honestly, I was scared. I thought I might break something.
Most beginners feel that way, but a basic Nmap scan doesn't break anything. It's just asking questions, not forcing entry.
Like ringing a doorbell and leaving.
Perfect analogy.
So when someone types nmapexample.com, what's actually happening?
Nmap is checking common ports. It's asking, is anyone listening here? Is something running there? And then it summarizes the answers.
So that's why beginners feel excited when they see results on screen.
Yes, because suddenly the system feels alive.
Common ports, human way. People keep talking about port numbers, 80, 443, 22. Why should we even care?
Because ports tell stories. Port 80 usually means a website. Port 443 means a secure website. Port 22 usually means remote login. If you see port 22 open, it means someone can log in remotely.
And that's sensitive.
Exactly. For defenders, it's a warning. For attackers, it's an opportunity.
So in a real penetration test, what comes first?
Reconnaissance. Before exploiting anything, before using fancy tools, before running attacks, you scan. Nmap is usually step one.
So no scanning, no hacking.
Correct. Skipping scanning is like trying to open a lock blindfolded.
Mindset shift for beginners. I think beginners focus too much on hacking.
True. Cybersecurity is more about understanding systems than breaking them. Nmap teaches you how systems expose themselves. That mindset is very important.
Short reflection pause. Let's pause here for a second. If someone understands just this much, what Nmap is, why scanning matters, and how to use it responsibly, they're already ahead of many people.
Absolutely. And this is just the foundation.
Rahul, one thing that really confused me in the beginning was TCP and UDP. Everyone keeps mentioning them like we already know everything.
Yeah, that confusion is very common. Let's keep it simple. Think about sending a package through a courier service.
Okay.
That's TCP. You send the package, you get confirmation. If it's lost, it gets resent. Reliable, but slightly slow.
And UDP?
UDP is like making an announcement on a loudspeaker. You speak, whoever hears it, no confirmation. Fast, but not reliable.
So TCP cares about accuracy, UDP cares about speed.
Exactly. And Nmap can scan both types, but the behavior you see is different. People complain that UDP scans take forever. Why is that? Because UDP doesn't reply properly. Nmap sends a message and waits. If there's no reply, it has to guess. That waiting time makes it slow. So silence doesn't mean closed. Correct. Silence can mean open, filtered, or blocked. That's why experience matters. Where do firewalls come into this picture? A firewall is like a security guard. It decides which packets are allowed in and which are not. So firewalls block Nmap. Sometimes, but even blocking gives information. If Nmap sees strange behavior, it can guess that a firewall exists. So defenders and attackers both learn from it. Exactly. Many companies say, we have a firewall, so we are safe. That's a dangerous mindset. Firewalls can be misconfigured, old rules can remain active, ports can be accidentally left open. Nmap helps find these mistakes. In real companies, how is Nmap used? Mostly for validation. After setting up a server, security teams scan it. They check if only required ports are open, nothing extra. So it's more about prevention. Exactly. Fix problems before attackers find them. What mistakes do beginners usually make with Nmap? Two big ones. First, they scan random websites. Second, they run aggressive scans without understanding. And both are risky. Very risky. Always practice on labs or your own network. Many tutorials focus only on commands. That's wrong. The real skill is reading the output, understanding what open, filtered, or closed means. Commands are easy. Interpretation is hard. Can Nmap help defenders think better? Definitely. When you scan your own system, you see it the way an attacker would. That perspective is very powerful. If someone starts today, what should their learning path look like? First, basic networking, then basic Nmap scans, then understanding results, then practice, 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 no shortcuts. Let's talk about careers. Is Nmap really useful in Indian jobs? Yes, very much. SOC analyst roles, VAPT roles, security engineer roles, all expect you to know scanning. Even freshers? Especially freshers. It shows foundation. What kind of interview questions connect to Nmap? They won't always ask directly. They might ask, how would you discover services on a server? If you say scanning with Nmap, that's a strong answer. Many people chase tools instead of mindset. Exactly. Tools change, concepts don't. Nmap teaches concepts. Some people learn Nmap and start teaching. That's actually a great idea. Teaching forces clarity. Even explaining basic scans improves understanding. Cybersecurity looks glamorous online. Reality is slower. Lots of reading, lots of failed scans, lots of confusion, but that's normal. Ethics are not optional.
Yes, your skills can open doors, literally. Always use them responsibly. One mistake can destroy a career.
Rahul, one thing I realized late is that pen testing is not about tools. Absolutely. Pen testing is mostly about thinking. Tools just help you express that thinking. Like asking the right questions. Exactly. When a pen tester runs Nmap, they're not thinking, let me scan. They're thinking, what kind of system is this? What mistakes could humans have made? What kind of mistakes are we talking about? Very basic ones. Someone forgets to close a port, someone installs a service and never removes it, someone uses default settings. Nmap quietly exposes all of this. So most vulnerabilities are human mistakes, almost always. Scanning a home network and a company network must feel very different, completely different. Home networks are simple, few devices, few services. Enterprise networks are messy. Old systems, new systems, cloud, VPNs, everything mixed. So Nmap output becomes more complex. Yes, and that's where experience matters. What's the difference between scanning from inside and outside? Big difference. External scans show what the world sees. Internal scans show what employees see. Many companies secure the outside but forget the inside, which is dangerous. Very dangerous. Insider threats exist. Beginners panic when they see open ports. That's a common misunderstanding. Some ports must be open. A website without port 80 or 443 open makes no sense. The problem is unnecessary open ports. So context matters, always. Experienced people look at Nmap output differently, right? Yes, they notice patterns, repeated filtered ports, unusual service versions, odd combinations. These hints tell stories. Almost like body language. Great comparison. Some admins hide services on non-standard ports. That's called security through obscurity. It helps a little, but Nmap doesn't care about port numbers. It finds services anyway. So hiding is not securing. Exactly. I used to cancel scans if they took too long. Everyone does at first, but slow scans often give deeper insights. Speed is tempting, but patience gives accuracy. Many beginners copy commands from the internet. That's risky. They don't understand what the command does. They don't know the impact. Learning why a command exists is more important than memorizing it. Would you say Nmap is more educational than offensive? Yes. Nmap teaches networking better than many textbooks. You see real responses, real systems. How does Nmap connect with other cybersecurity skills? It connects everything. Vulnerability scanning, exploitation, incident response, even cloud security. Scanning is the base. Does Nmap still matter in cloud setups? Absolutely. Cloud servers still have ports, still have services, still have misconfigurations. Only the environment changes. Is one scan enough? Never. Systems change, updates happen, new services get added. Regular scanning is important. Long scans can be mentally tiring. True, that's why professionals take notes, document results, and take breaks. Cybersecurity is a long game. Reports are boring but important. Very important. Clients don't care about commands, they care about impact. Nmap results must be explained in simple language. That's a skill by itself. Yes, you might understand Nmap perfectly, but if you can't explain risk to management, it's useless. What mindset shift should students make? Students chase answers, professionals chase understanding. Nmap rewards understanding. Confusion is part of learning. Always. If Nmap output confuses you, it means you are learning something new. Confusion is not failure. Long-term career growth? Does mastering basics really help long-term? More than fancy tools. People who understand Nmap deeply adapt faster to new tools. We keep coming back to ethics. Because it matters. One irresponsible scan can bring legal trouble. Skill without ethics is dangerous. After all this discussion, Nmap feels less like a tool and more like a mindset. Exactly. It teaches curiosity, patience, and respect for systems. If you're still listening, you're building a strong foundation. And foundations matter more than shortcuts. Keep learning, stay ethical, and respect the process.
Rahul, movies make hacking look very dramatic. But in reality, how do attacks actually start? Honestly, very quietly. Most attacks don't start with exploits. They start with observation. Someone scans, someone notices something small, and slowly things build up. So Nmap is usually the silent beginning.
Exactly. No noise, no alerts sometimes, just information gathering.
What kind of small details?
For example, a service version that's slightly outdated, or a port that doesn't belong there. Individually, they look harmless. Together, they form a story.
So attackers connect dots.
Yes, and defenders should do the same.
People talk about layers of security. Where does Nmap fit? Nmap checks the outer layers. Before authentication, before application logic, it tells you what is exposed to the network. So it's like checking doors before checking locks. Perfect way to put it. Some admins hesitate to run scans. That's ironic. If you don't scan your own systems, someone else eventually will. Nmap doesn't create problems, it reveals them. Why do big companies still miss basic things? Because of scale and humans. People leave teams, documentation becomes outdated, temporary changes become permanent. Nmap catches these leftovers.
Like forgotten doors.
Exactly. Timing and scanning strategy. Is timing important in scanning?
Very. Scanning during peak hours might trigger alerts. Scanning during maintenance windows is safer. Professionals plan scans, they don't rush. Labs feel clean and simple. Real networks are messy. In labs, everything is intentional. In real life, half the things are accidents. That's why Nmap output looks scarier in production. Sometimes Nmap gives too much output. That's normal. The skill is filtering mentally, asking what matters, what doesn't. Not everything is a vulnerability. So prioritization is key. Yes, open port on an internal test server is different from open port on a public server. Context decides urgency. Can systems ever be fully secure? No. Security is about reducing risk, not eliminating it. Nmap helps reduce unknowns. Beginners hate the word filtered because it's ambiguous. Filtered means something is interfering. Firewall, IPS, routing rules. It's not good or bad by itself. It just means look deeper. How should defenders use Nmap differently? Defenders scan to confirm assumptions. They assume something is closed and scan to verify. Attackers scan to find surprises.
Interesting difference. How do logs fit into this?
Scans show exposure. Logs show behavior. Together, they give the full picture. Nmap tells what can be reached. Logs tell what was actually accessed.
So security is a loop.
Exactly. Scan, fix, monitor, scan again. Nmap fits naturally in that loop. Senior engineers still use Nmap daily. Yes, because basics don't fail. Fancy tools depend on many things. Nmap just works. Automation is everywhere now. Automation is helpful, but blind trust is dangerous. If you don't understand Nmap output, automation won't save you. Security feels uncertain. It is. Nmap doesn't give absolute truth, it gives probabilities. Professionals learn to think probabilistically.
Most breaches start small, right?
Yes, rarely dramatic 0 days, mostly misconfigurations. Nmap often could have caught them early. Why do people ignore warnings? Because nothing breaks immediately. Humans respond to pain, not warnings. Security is about acting before pain. Security teams fight with business teams. All the time. Business wants speed, security wants safety. Nmap helps give evidence instead of opinions. How should findings be communicated? In business language. Not port 22 is open, but remote access is exposed to the internet. Meaning matters more than numbers. What does long-term growth look like? Strong fundamentals, clear thinking, ethical discipline. Nmap trains all three. People feel they're not good enough. Everyone does. If Nmap output confuses you today, that means tomorrow you'll understand more. Confusion is progress. Curiosity seems important. Very. People who ask why is this open learn faster than those who just run commands. Legal and career safety. Yes, one mistake can cost a career. That's why permission, scope, and ethics are non-negotiable. Nmap should protect careers, not ruin them. After all this, how should people see Nmap? As a lens.
a way to see systems clearly, not as a weapon.
Rahul, I've noticed something. Beginners scan everything the same way.
True, experience changes how you scan, not just what you scan. Beginners ask, what command should I run? Experienced people ask, what am I trying to understand?
So the scan has a purpose.
Exactly. Every scan should answer a question. What kind of questions? Questions like, is this system public-facing? Is it meant for users or admins? Is it old or recently deployed? Nmap helps you validate assumptions.
Same Nmap output can mean different things, right?
Yes. Port 22 open on a test server? Normal. Port 22 open on a finance production server? Danger. Context decides risk.
So security feels less technical.
That's because it is. Most security issues exist because of human decisions. Nmap just exposes the result of those decisions.
Default settings seem convenient.
And that's the problem. Defaults are designed for ease, not security. Nmap often reveals systems running exactly on defaults.
Can small scans teach something meaningful?
Absolutely. Even scanning one machine teaches you how services behave, how firewalls react, how networks respond. Learning comes from observation, not size. People want fast results. Fast learning often fades fast. Slow learning sticks. If you understand one Nmap scan deeply, you'll remember it for years.
Senior engineers sometimes just know something is wrong.
That's intuition. It comes from seeing similar Nmap patterns again and again. Intuition is trained, not magic.
What kind of blind spots do teams usually have?
Internal networks. Companies secure the perimeter, but trust internal systems too much. Nmap often shows internal exposure. Networks never stay the same. Exactly. New services, new updates, new rules. That's why Nmap is not a one-time tool. It's a continuous check. Should scans be done after every change? Ideally, yes. Even small changes can open unexpected ports. Scanning verifies that change didn't introduce risk.
Is Nmap used during incidents?
Yes. During incidents, teams scan to understand exposure. What can the attacker reach right now? Nmap answers that.
Incident response feels like investigation.
It is. Nmap becomes a flashlight, showing reachable paths.
People love the word stealth.
Stealth doesn't mean invisible. It means quieter. Even quiet scans leave traces. That's why ethics and permission matter.
So professionals balance scan intensity.
Exactly. Too aggressive, alerts everywhere. Too gentle, misinformation. Experience finds balance.
Documentation saves careers.
Until something goes wrong. Documented scans protect you legally and professionally. They show intent and scope.
Many beginners ignore legal basics.
That's dangerous. Understanding permission, scope, and consent is as important as knowing Nmap itself.
Security teams are known for saying no.
Because they see risks others don't. Nmap gives evidence to justify that no.
Good security explains risks clearly and suggests safe alternatives. Nmap supports that conversation. What about false alarms?
They're learning opportunities. Understanding why something looked risky but isn't improves judgment.
Confidence comes slowly in this field.
As it should. Overconfidence causes mistakes. Nmap humbles people by showing complexity.
We keep coming back to systems thinking.
Because tools are temporary. Understanding systems makes you future-proof.
Security work can be exhausting.
Yes, long scans, alerts, pressure. Taking breaks and pacing learning is important.
If you had to summarize success in cybersecurity, what would you say?
Strong basics, ethical mindset, continuous curiosity. Nmap supports all three.
So Nmap is not just a tool.
It's a way of seeing. It teaches how systems expose themselves and how humans make mistakes.
After spending time in security, I feel the biggest change is not tools, it's mindset. Absolutely. Early on, people want to find issues. Later, they want to understand systems. Nmap becomes less about scanning and more about listening to what the system is telling you. Listening is a nice word. Yeah, networks communicate all the time. Open ports, response times, filtered packets, they're like signals. Experienced people don't rush past them.
So, random scanning is useless.
Mostly, yes. A scan without a goal creates noise. Before running Nmap, professionals ask, what decision will this scan help me make?
Security is about decisions, not data.
Exactly. Nmap gives data. Humans convert it into decisions. That conversion is the real skill.
With so many tools, how do big companies still get breached?
Because tools don't fix culture. Security teams may scan, but findings don't always reach decision makers. An open port means nothing if no one acts on it.
So security is also communication.
Very much. Nmap findings must be translated from technical language into risk language.
Like saying what instead of how.
Exactly. Not this port is open, but this system can be accessed remotely. Impact matters more than implementation.
Should you always be able to explain your scan?
Yes. If you can't explain why you ran a scan, you probably shouldn't have run it. Explainability keeps security ethical.
How do seniors review Nmap scans?
They don't ask, what command did you run? They ask, what did you learn? That question changes everything. Sometimes shorter output feels more useful. True, focused scans often give clearer answers. More data doesn't always mean more clarity. Scoping seems underrated. Very underrated. Good scoping protects systems, protects companies, and protects your career. Nmap without scope is dangerous. Permission is a skill too. People think permission is just paperwork, but it's a professional skill. Clear permission defines boundaries. Boundaries create trust. Security teams often lack trust because scanning feels invasive. Clear communication before using Nmap builds trust with IT and business teams.
So security shouldn't feel like spying.
Exactly. Nmap should feel like a health check, not an interrogation.
Like regular medical checkups.
Perfect analogy. You don't wait for pain to see a doctor. You don't wait for a breach to scan.
Running scans over time shows patterns.
Yes, one scan is a snapshot. Multiple scans are a movie. Patterns reveal long-term issues.
Technical debt exists. What about security debt?
Very real. Every ignored scan result adds to security debt. Eventually, it gets expensive.
Later rarely comes.
Exactly. Nmap often highlights things people plan to fix later. Later becomes never.
Documentation aging is dangerous.
And outdated documentation is risky. Nmap often shows reality doesn't match documents. Reality always wins.
Accepting that systems are messy,
and that's okay. Security isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. Nmap increases awareness.
Security teaches humility.
Yes, no matter how good you are, a scan can surprise you. That keeps professionals grounded. Beginners hesitate to ask questions. They shouldn't. Every confusing Nmap output is an opportunity to ask why. Curiosity builds expertise.
Some people copy outputs without understanding.
That's meaningless. Understanding why a port exists is more valuable than knowing it exists.
Time seems tied to security.
Very much. Outdated services, delayed patching, old rules, time creates risk. Nmap often exposes time-based neglect. There's no done state. Exactly. Security is continuous. Nmap fits perfectly into that continuous cycle.
Seniors stay calm during incidents
because they've seen similar patterns before. Nmap patterns repeat across environments. Experience reduces panic.
Learning from near misses teach more than incidents.
True. When Nmap shows something risky before it's exploited, that's a gift.
Gratitude for boring days are good days.
Very good days. No incidents means things are working. Nmap helps keep days boring.
Looking back, growth feels slow but steady.
That's the best kind. Security careers are built quietly, just like good scans.
From curiosity to discipline. Rahul, I feel most people enter cybersecurity because of curiosity. True. Curiosity pulls people in, but what keeps people here long-term is discipline. Running Nmap once is curiosity. Running it regularly, carefully, and responsibly, that's discipline. So talent is not everything? Not at all. I've seen average people with discipline outperform talented people who are careless. Nmap rewards consistency more than brilliance. Most security work feels invisible. That's because good security is quiet. When Nmap shows everything looks normal, that silence is success. No news is good news.
Social media shows hacking as flashy.
Yeah, and that creates wrong expectations. Real cybersecurity is repetitive. Scan, review, document, repeat. Nmap looks boring on camera, but powerful in reality.
So boring skills matter more?
Always. Companies pay for reliability, not excitement. If you can consistently run clean scans and explain results clearly, you become valuable. How do security professionals gain trust? By not overreacting. When Nmap shows something risky, panic doesn't help. Clear explanation, calm response, that builds trust. Is there a time when you shouldn't scan? Yes. During critical business operations, during sensitive migrations, when you don't have scope. Knowing when not to use Nmap is as important as knowing how to use it. Restraint feels underrated. Very underrated. Just because you can scan doesn't mean you should. Professional maturity is knowing when to stop. Security and empathy sounds unusual, but it matters. Admins, developers, business teams, they're all under pressure. Nmap findings should help them, not embarrass them. Blame culture kills security. Exactly. If scans are used to blame people, people start hiding problems. If scans are used to improve systems, people cooperate. Ideally, scanning should feel normal. Yes, like checking emails, like reviewing logs. When Nmap becomes routine, security improves naturally. Do professionals use checklists? All the time. Checklists reduce mistakes. Nmap scans combined with checklists ensure nothing obvious is missed. Sometimes big issues are obvious in hindsight. Very common. Nmap might show an open service clearly, but people overlook it because they expect complexity. Never ignore simple findings. Attackers love simple mistakes because simple mistakes scale. One open port on one system is small. Same port open on 500 systems? That's dangerous. Nmap helps spot patterns at scale. Security changes when systems scale. Yes, manual checks don't work at scale. Nmap helps maintain visibility as infrastructure grows. Security management sounds boring too, but it's critical. Every change should be followed by validation. Nmap validates that changes didn't create exposure. People assume things are closed. Assumptions create blind spots. Nmap replaces assumptions with evidence. Evidence-based security is safer. Who owns security issues? Everyone. Security teams identify issues, owners fix them. Nmap should clarify ownership, not create confusion. Small warnings pile up. Yes, ignored warnings turn into incidents. Nmap often gives early warnings, if people listen. Legacy systems are scary, but they're also teachers. Scanning old systems shows how technology decisions age over time. Nmap gives visibility into legacy risk. Removing unused services matters. Absolutely. Unused services are forgotten doors. Nmap helps identify what's no longer needed. Cleanup reduces attack surface. Security feels like removing things. Often, yes. Less exposure, fewer services, fewer surprises. Nmap supports subtraction better than addition. Security can't break availability. Exactly. The goal is safe availability, not lockdown. Nmap helps find balance points. Senior engineers respect basics because basics age well. Nmap has survived decades because fundamentals don't change. New tools get hyped quickly. Hype fades, but skills built around Nmap remain relevant. Learn principles, not hype. Security and self-awareness matters. Very much. If you don't understand an output, pause and learn. Guessing in security is dangerous. Good security people say, "Let me check," because they don't answer immediately. "Let me scan and verify" is a professional response. Nmap enables responsible answers.
Security never ends. It evolves. Each scan is a conversation with the system. Nmap helps keep that conversation honest. Not everything is clear-cut, true. Security lives in gray areas. Nmap gives clues, not certainties. Judgment matters. Overconfidence seems risky, very risky. Humility keeps people cautious. Nmap humbles everyone eventually. What helps people survive long-term? Strong fundamentals, ethical discipline, clear communication. Nmap strengthens all three. After all this discussion, Nmap feels more than a tool. It's a mindset. Observe carefully, assume nothing, act responsibly.
Amit, after listening to all this, I feel security slowly becomes a habit.
Exactly. At some point, you stop doing security consciously. You just think securely. When you see a system, your mind automatically asks, what's exposed? What shouldn't be here? That's where tools like Nmap quietly fit in. So the way you look at systems changes completely. A normal user sees a website. A security person sees ports, services, paths. Nmap trains your eyes to see what's underneath. Beginners often want answers quickly. Yes, but security rewards good questions. Nmap doesn't always give clear answers. It gives hints. Your job is to ask the right follow-up questions.
Like, why is this open instead of what is open?
Exactly. The why teaches more than the what. Most incidents feel like surprises, and security exists to reduce surprises. Nmap reduces the unknowns. It shows you things before they shock you. One scan doesn't feel enough. It's never enough. Systems change quietly. Someone installs something, someone forgets to remove something. Regular scans catch quiet changes.
Small changes can have big impact.
Exactly. One forgotten service can become a doorway. Nmap notices what humans forget.
Startups grow fast and break security.
Growth is dangerous. Speed creates shortcuts. Shortcuts create exposure. Nmap acts like a brake during growth.
So security is about balance.
Always. Too slow kills business. Too fast kills safety. Nmap helps find the middle path. Security can't be done alone. Never. Admins, developers, security teams, everyone plays a role. Nmap findings should invite collaboration, not conflict.
Presentation matters, right?
Very much. If you present scan results aggressively, people get defensive. If you present them calmly, people listen.
Words matter.
Yes. Critical exposure sounds scary. Unnecessary service exposed to the internet sounds actionable. Nmap gives data. Language gives direction.
Boring keeps coming up again and again.
Because boring means stable. Exciting security usually means incidents. Nmap working quietly in the background is a sign of healthy systems.
Trusting the process.
Sometimes progress feels slow. That's normal. Security maturity grows slowly but steadily. Daily scans and reviews compound over time. Compound effect in security. Like savings. Exactly. Small improvements every week lead to strong posture over years. Nmap contributes to that compounding effect. Experienced people love routines because routines prevent mistakes. Nmap routines catch issues before creativity is needed.
So creativity comes later.
Yes, creativity is for unusual problems. Routine is for common ones. Nmap handles common exposure very well. Most attacks aren't fancy. Exactly. Most breaches come from simple misconfigurations. Nmap focuses on those simple, dangerous gaps. Simple tools last longer because it solves a simple, permanent problem: visibility. As long as networks exist, scanning will exist. Respecting old tools. Right. Old doesn't mean outdated. Old tools often mean battle-tested. Nmap has seen many generations of technology.
Security and personal growth too.
Yes, it teaches patience, attention to detail, responsibility. Those skills help outside work as well.
Incidents create pressure. Calm thinking saves the day.
People trained with tools like Nmap don't panic at unexpected output. They investigate. Assumptions are dangerous. Very. Nmap replaces assumptions with evidence. Evidence-based decisions are safer. Why security is never personal? Exactly. Security findings point to systems, not people. Keeping it professional keeps teams healthy. Dealing with resistance. Some teams resist security advice. That's normal. Resistance reduces when security provides clarity, not fear. Nmap results help ground discussions in facts, growing confidence quietly. And that's good. Quiet confidence prevents reckless actions. Nmap encourages careful thinking. Why good security is invisible. Users rarely notice good security. Exactly. If users notice security, something is probably wrong. Nmap works best when nobody notices. The value of nothing found? Absolutely. It confirms assumptions. Knowing something is not exposed is as valuable as finding exposure. So security confirms reality. Yes, Nmap confirms what teams think is true. That confirmation builds confidence. Long-term mentality. Security feels like a long journey. It is. People who survive treat it like a marathon. Nmap is a steady companion on that journey. Why ethics must stay central? Because without ethics, skills become dangerous. Ethics protect users, companies, and careers. Nmap should always be used with permission.
Rahul, there's a stage where learning stops feeling like learning.
Yes, that's when it becomes ownership. You're not just running Nmap commands anymore, you own the understanding of what's happening. You stop copying and start deciding. Exactly. And that shift is very important in cybersecurity careers. People often ask how to gain confidence. Confidence comes from clarity. When you know why a port is open, why a service exists, and why it's risky or not, you don't panic. Nmap helps build that clarity. By the way, if you're finding this discussion useful, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We break down complex security topics in a very calm, practical way like this. I've seen people panic during scans. That usually means they don't trust their understanding yet. Panic reduces as experience increases. When Nmap output looks strange, experienced people pause. They don't panic. So speed is not always good. In security, slow thinking is often safer. Quick decisions without understanding create bigger problems. Nmap encourages slow, deliberate observation. Pausing feels uncomfortable, but it saves careers. A pause lets you ask, is this expected? Is this within scope? Do I need approval? That pause is professionalism. If you've ever felt confused or overwhelmed looking at scan results, drop a comment saying, "Been there." You're definitely not alone. Movies show heroes saving systems in minutes. Real security heroes prevent problems quietly. No drama, no spotlight. Nmap works best when nothing happens. Prevention doesn't get appreciation. True, but prevention saves money, time, and reputation. A scan that finds nothing is actually a success story. How do seniors judge juniors in security teams? Not by how many tools they know, but by how calmly they scan, how clearly they explain, and how responsibly they act. Nmap reveals maturity very quickly. Explanation is harder than scanning. Yes, anyone can run a scan. Very few can explain the impact. That's why communication multiplies your value. In upcoming episodes, we'll also focus on how to explain security findings to non-technical managers, so stay tuned for that. Complacency seems dangerous. Very. When teams stop questioning assumptions, exposure creeps in quietly. Nmap reintroduces healthy questioning. That sentence scares security people. Because attackers love legacy habits. Nmap often exposes services that exist only because it was always like that. Security often means removing things. Yes, removing unused services, removing unnecessary access. Nmap helps identify what can be removed safely. Cleanup doesn't feel exciting, but cleanup reduces attack surface dramatically.
Less exposure means less problems.
Quick suggestion for listeners. Try running Nmap on your own test lab and note down what surprised you. That exercise alone teaches a lot. Security teaches introspection.
Yes, every scan asks, did I understand the system correctly? Mistakes become learning moments. Overconfidence seems common online and dangerous. Humility keeps you cautious. Caution prevents accidents. Nmap humbles everyone at some point. Instinct alone isn't enough. Right, process protects you when instinct fails. Scanning, documenting, reviewing, that process matters. This doesn't feel like a fast career. And that's okay. Cybersecurity rewards patience. People who rush burn out. People who stay consistent grow. If you want us to create a community series where we discuss real scan scenarios together, comment community below. We'll plan it.
Good security builds reputation.
Yes, they're calm, they're reliable, they don't overreact. Tools like Nmap support that reputation. People ignore negative results, but nothing found confirms safety. That confirmation builds trust. Absence of risk is still data. Verification beats assumptions. Always, Nmap verifies reality. Reality-based decisions are safer. Security is a responsibility, not power. Exactly. Security skills give access. Responsibility keeps that access ethical. Always respect permission and scope. Quick reminder, never scan systems without permission. Ethical practice protects you and others. Security changes how you think overall. Yes, you become more observant, more careful, more structured. These skills apply beyond cybersecurity. Tools change fast, but fundamentals don't. As long as systems communicate over networks, Nmap will remain relevant. So Nmap is not about hacking. It's about understanding exposure. It teaches clarity, patience, and responsibility. If this episode helped you even a little, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone learning cybersecurity. Your support helps us create more deep, practical content like this.
Thanks for staying with us.
Keep learning, keep practicing, and always stay ethical.